MAESTRODMX users, are you looking for ways to have more control over your lights but not sure where to start? This video is for you. Let's go. Hi, my name is Adam. Welcome to the channel. My goal is to help you make good money playing music. If that sounds like something you would be into, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. So a few weeks back, I did my review of the MAESTRODMX, an autonomous lighting designer in a box that can run your existing light rig like a professional lighting designer. I also dropped a discount code to save 10% when you pick one up. Link for that is in the description, by the way. Since then, I've used it at pretty much every gig my band has played. And as we've got adjusted to this new component of our live shows, we wanted to add some additional ways to step up the production value of our gigs. MAESTRODMX's interface allows you to change scenes and adjust things, but also has buttons for specific effects like strobes, blackouts, and blinders. The problem is you have to trigger them somehow while performing. In my initial review, I mentioned mapping a small MIDI controller to trigger those actions, but since it was a touchpad, it wasn't something we could use while actually playing. So I went on a quest to find a better option. In case you didn't know, MAESTRODMX has a couple of USB ports on it and is set up as a MIDI host, which means you can connect any device that can send MIDI over USB to trigger scene changes and all the other stuff it can do. For this scenario, you need to find a floor controller that can be configured for MIDI commands. More specifically, MIDI note on and off, and MIDI control changes, or MIDI CC. Be sure to read the features of whatever controller you're looking at because they don't all offer that specific functionality. What I ended up with was the Live Logic foot controller made by Blackstar Amps. It's a 6-button MIDI controller that can be customized with their Live Logic MIDI control software, which is a free download. If you go with another product, it should have its own way to add or customize what each button does. You could go with a smaller option, but I wanted to do a few other things, and this was just lying around at our guitar player's house, so this is what we opted for. The next thing you need to do is go to Maestro's support page and look up the MIDI input specification document. This is going to be the guide to configuring the floorboard to trigger specific commands. From there, open up your MIDI configuration software for your floorboard and start changing things around. In our setup, I wanted to have a button to trigger the blackouts, strobes, blinders, and then a between songs scene that isn't super busy, and then one more button that triggers the next scene in our playlist. The first three are pretty straightforward. You just pick the MIDI channel, the note, and the correct octave. As you can see here, the note is G0, and when the button is depressed, it initiates that command. Not all MIDI devices run the same way, so it may take some trial and error to get the right octave to make the controller interface with the Maestro. That's why there's 3 different octaves when you choose a note. I opted to set all of my switches as toggles, which means the action only occurs while the button is held down. It goes back to what it was doing before that when you release the button. Just note that the effect commands can also be set to latch, which means that after you let go of the button, it's going to continue to do that until you push another button. Each of those specific functions has its own MIDI note command. If you're going to start choosing specific scenes, it gets a bit confusing. In the documentation, it says select Q 1 through 98, and then the note value of F-1 to F1. What that means is once you find the right note and the right octave, you're gonna have to mess with that a little bit. The scenes are triggered by the corresponding note from the starting note. So with my controller, the first scene ended up being F1. If I want to trigger the second scene, I'd pick F#1, third, G1, and so on. Our between song scene is scene 8, so that's what the note is set to. And for the button on the far right, I chose the next Q command, which in this case is C#. If you check the support article, you can see there are a ton of other actions you can trigger, especially if you have movers. It gives you a tremendous amount of options to utilize to make your live show really compelling, all at your feet. So there you have it, a super quick solution to add cool components to your light show without having to automate it. Would you guys be interested in a video about how to set up Maestro with Ableton or any other software? Let me know in the comments. I just want to let you guys know that I plan on releasing additional content about this product, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel to make sure that you're on top of things. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every single Friday. Also, if you dig what we're doing, please consider supporting the Patreon. We offer a few tiers with perks like bonus podcast episodes and access to our patron exclusive Slack channel, which is full of dozens of super successful band leaders who are there to share how to make great money playing music. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time.